let's talk about an effective way to set goals. Well, setting goals is not even important. What is really important is to go down the journey of time and actually touch them physically, take them off, which is where most of us fail. So, to effectively set them up in a way that you can meet them, let's divide it into 3 easy steps. First, think big. Very, 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 very big. Without worrying about whether you can actually do it, how will you do it, it is possible or not. Get out of all that, nagging mindset and set up a big, big vision for yourself. Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 or even 10 years, if that makes sense to you? Now, I remember this was one of the questions I used to prepare when going for job interviews. And it was such a facade in those times. It was such an artificial answer. But today, I want you to really think about it. Where do you actually want to see yourself in the next 5 years? How would you be operating as? What would you be doing? What would you love to be doing? That's the first step. Write it down. So, see, none of these steps are complete unless you write it down. Anything that you do in the brain, it just goes. What you write down is what stays, because 90% of your learning is lost if not written. So write it down. How do you visualize yourself operating in the next 5 years? Next, the second step which comes after this is long-term planning is good, but it never materializes. Life, it's so unpredictable that you can't plan for such long period of time. Technology will change, markets will change, a lot of other things. Your environment will change, your countries will change, so many more things that will have an impact on how you're operating after 5 or 10 years. So now let's get to the concrete bit. I want you to think concrete. I want you to think practical in this step. In the next 1 year, where do you want to see yourself? Let's say by this December, where would you be? Where would you want to be? What is your aspiration? And this should push you towards your long-term vision. So you're coming back from that vision that you have created in step 1, that long-term vision. But to get there, where do you need to be in the next 1 year? Write it down. And be very practical, be very clear, concise. While you're doing that, I want you to think from all perspectives. Now, when I say all perspectives, the whole triangle. Where would you be in terms of your achievements? What would you like to achieve? Where would you be in terms of your relationships? How would your relationships be? Juicy, really awesome, you having genuine relationships, great friends, great relationship at home, great professional relationships, your network. Your network is your net worth. Remember that. And the third thing, in terms of your health, no matter where you are, where do you want to take it? 1 year is a very big time. So across all the 3 areas, visualize a goal for yourself in the next 1 year. Now the third step. Now it's time to get to the details. Break it into milestones. To get to that level, to get to that picture of yourself that you have visualized, that self-image that you have created in step 2, what is it? Come back from it. Take a step back and start the backward journey. Where is it that you would need to be in 9 months, in 6 months, in 3 months, in 1 month, in 1 week? And write down, break that into milestones. 1 week, I would have taken these actions. 1 month, this is what I would have done. 3 months, this is what I would have done. 6 months this, and 9 months this. So break it into practical milestones in a way that you can measure them. So what is it that you would have achieved? How much? With due dates. Remember, in this step, we didn't talk about dates in step 1 or step 2 because we were forming the big picture and we were slowly bringing practicality in our vision. But in this step, it is really important for you to exactly write what is it that you would have achieved, how would you measure it, and by what date, exact dates. Now, As you do that, your goal setting is complete. All that you now need to do is to, as you go through your journey, in 1 week, make sure you have taken the actions. 1 month, make sure you are there. And let's say if you find yourself slipping, go back and see what is it that you were supposed to do. So if a month becomes 1 month and 4 days, it is okay. You don't have to worry. Things do happen. Life does come in the way. But make sure at a high level, you are on track. And you might fail, you might get caught up in the work, you might not be able to pay that much attention. But every time you do that, and anytime you change the due date, you're allowed to do that, by the way. Anytime you change the due date, there should be a valid reason for it. And if you see yourself doing that a number of times, you are not committed to your goal. If you think that goal setting doesn't work and it is better to take life with go with the flow of life, well, I can tell you, nothing big in life is achieved unless you have a vision, unless you have a goal, unless you have measurable outcomes. So do not leave it. Do not leave it. Unless you have a destination in your GPS, unless you have targeted goals, you might get lost in the bylanes and you don't know where you will land up. So have specific goals, have a great vision, and go and meet them. So do this exercise and share with me if you want. Send me a note, send me what is it that you have come up with, and I will be happy to give my feedback.